Today on the adventures of Battride.
Okay, I'm back again so soon, and I realised it's been a while since I've last done one of these Kamen Rider videos, or the bug-eyed bastards from Japan. And the last one I did left a sour taste in my mouth. I can still taste today. Shit, it's been over a year since I actually did the last one of these series, so I better get on. So this one is Kamen Rider Battride War for the PS3, and it was released on May in 2013 in Japan, the Sony PS3. I've already mentioned that, obviously. It was only ever released in Japan, as far as I'm aware. There's no other versions, so you can't like import a Singapore version and hope to get English subs. It's not going to cut it. Eventually this game will become part one in a trilogy of games, but I don't think they knew that at the time. And the game heavily features the at the time latest rider, which was Wizard. I've not watched that series, so I can't really comment on the character. Now, the game itself was done in 2 flavours, not quite like Pokemon Red and Blue. More like, we'll take your money and you can pay a lot more for a premium edition. So you've got your regular edition and premium edition. The difference being is the premium edition essentially had TV show audio and sound. Music licensing in Japan, or at least Japanese media, is something I don't want to talk about too much. It's even given a sample that tends to make Toei copyright strike, which I'm kind of expecting them to do on this video anyway, for showing their precious game that they're clearly not even making any money on. But that being said, the main theme of the game is called Go Get 'Em by Kamen Rider Girls, which, if you haven't figured, is a Italian J-pop idol group. I think are still around to this day in some form, and they are beautiful Japanese women models. The ones I've actually been using for thumbnails for this series of videos. But wait a minute, Mike, isn't that sexist? Well, me commenting on the attractiveness of Japanese women meant to sell songs and entice you into a nerdy franchise. To that I say, I was 24 when I first heard and saw them, and you bet ya that marketing sexist strategy worked. Still, never bought one of their songs at all, but you know, I own this game. Not because of them, they're not in it, just their music. So this was the first PS3 game that I imported, before I learned about creating profiles for regions. If I'd known, I probably would have just done a digital download version of it. And up until actually recording footage for this today, I haven't played it in years, and the PS3 is region free, so you can still play it on your UK account, US account, wherever. But just keep in mind, DLC isn't region free, so you can't get DLC from the store. And I think it's only like different skins and stuff anyway. But again, you can set up a Japanese account free and go in and get them. The game itself is an action beat 'em up, or a Musou clone, so a lot like Dynasty Warriors, or Dynasty, depending on how you pronounce that word. But without the fancy licensing agreements, and that does show in the quality of the gameplay. So if you ever played anything like, for example, the Gundam or the Hyrule versions, you know there's like some quality control going on there. There's not so much going on here. For example, like riding motorbikes is a pain in the ass and it's really horrible to control. However, the button bashing fun is always going to be great. You know, everyone knows a good button basher. Probably why Streets of Rage 4 is so fun as well. Now again, I briefly touched on this, the game is entirely in Japanese, but it's quite easy to navigate the menus, and it auto-saves, so there's a bonus there. Character-wise, it features the Heisei era riders, so up till 2013, so it's mostly the titular riders, starting with Superman Cool Guy. Obviously I'm meaning Kamen Rider Cougar, I'm sure 1 or 2 of you might actually get that joke. Up until 2013's Wizard. And again, I haven't seen Wizard. I would love to go through and name all the riders. I probably could get a great deal of them done, but I haven't watched. I have no intention to watching some of the series involved. For example, Den over fucking rated O, and clearly Kamen Rider Wizard. It's a shame, however, that not all riders are present, and I don't just mean the show riders, but other ones like the extra riders from Yuki or Kabuto. Because if you could have played as the B, I would have been dominating as him. That's just saying. It's not really a hard story to follow, even without the subs. The Heisei riders have had their minds wiped, and either that or they're just going crazy. And you progress through the story, they join you again, you being Wizard, again the latest rider at the time. And then touching on the DLC, I think it was like for alternative forms of Wizard, because the game launched pretty close to his series beginning. So he got, like, as the series aired, he got power-ups that weren't in the game, so the DLC gave him them power-ups, or as far as I'm aware. I've had a lot of sleep since then, and I've both started and gave up drinking in between. I think there was also some DLC codes given out with the Kamen Rider Girls CD for the song for the game, but again, I don't know what that would have contained. So the game itself did come out quite late in the PS3's life. Ideally, it should have had better graphics, however, it's still good just to pick your favourite rider and go to war, which is a trap the game sometimes falls into. So like say if you have a favourite rider, you'll often find yourself playing as that rider non-stop. So for me, in the game, I love Kabuto, so whenever I could, I would play it as Kabuto, and you bet your ass I was in as much as I could. It is a breath of fresh air in the Kamen Rider games, as they're all sort of just becoming fighting games at this point. At least this was a new direction for it to go in. I don't really have much opinion on the sound, again because I've just got the standard version and I wouldn't pay for the premium version, even though you can get that fairly cheap now as well. But you can hear some of the classic riders reprising their roles, but not all of them. Even if you don't 100% know what they're saying, you can still recognise the voice clips. I do like the game, however it still might not be your cup of tea. If you do like mindless moves so fun, it could be worth a go, but unless you're a rider fan, I would still recommend to give it a miss. But if you are a rider fan looking for something fun, just go for it. Again, as mentioned, I imported it when it was released, so I paid a pretty penny for it. However, looking around the internet, you can get a second-hand copy for a reasonable price. And I did notice that PlayAsia still had it for sale, brand new, but it was about £20ish, but when I did click in it only said one left in stock. So maybe one of you guys will get that. But yeah, that's all I've really got to say. Thanks for watching, stay safe during these crazy times, and I will probably be reviewing more games soon, probably more in this Bug Eye series.